So I recently played a demo for Cairn, a new upcoming climbing game from indie studio The Game Bakers, slated for release sometime this year. And I gotta say, I'm pretty excited about it.
Why?
Well, because climbing in real life looks like this. And in games,
You're boring.
but Cairn looks to fix that with a fresh approach and an innovative new climbing system that is set to change how we think about vertical traversal in games going forward. So video game climbing, let's check out where we've been, where we're at, and how Cairn might just have changed the game. Do you remember this? This is the opening to Mission Impossible 2. Remember how awesome it looked? The danger, the skill, the epic conflict of man versus mountain set against breathtaking natural vistas? Remember when Tom Cruise did this move for absolutely no reason whatsoever? Well, I do, and it was awesome. And I still remember thinking when I watched it, it would be really cool to play something like that in a video game. Well, this movie is like, what, 20 years old now, and that itch has largely remained unscratched. Sure, there have been many climbing sequences and mechanics within the platforming genre over the years, particularly with games such as the Uncharted and the Tomb Raider series, both offering some climbing gameplay in various cinematic-looking scents. But for the most part, the mechanics of these games have become pretty tired, dated, and cliché at this point, and have basically been reskinned and replicated to the point of nausea. And here's the thing, they were never particularly satisfying to begin with.
Shut your hole!
Hear me out. Climbing in video games generally falls predictably into two camps. The first being ledges. So many ledges. This is really the classic climbing system that has remained pretty consistent since the early platforming days. I mean, how many times have you played a game where you've had to scale a rock face or building to achieve your objective and been presented with an improbably conspicuous series of ledges and protrusions just sticking out of whatever surface you're faced with? You then have to unrealistically bound your character from ledge to ledge along a predetermined route with seemingly infinite grip strength and stamina with very little challenge or stakes.
Really that?
More often than not, this model turns what could be an epic challenge of skill, timing, and physical prowess into a lengthy and tedious slog of relentless ledge hopping. But then when Assassin's Creed dropped back in 2007, it switched things up and offered a new model. Players were now presented with an open world where they were free to clamber up anything in any way that they wanted. Just hold down the freerun trigger and point your man at any surface, and he'd find a way to shimmy right up it with an impressive series of smooth and contextual animations. Which sounds great on paper, and is admittedly pretty cool the first couple of times you do it, but it gets pretty boring pretty quick. For the simple reason that the player is not actually really being allowed to participate in the climbing process. You're not having to make death-defying split-second decisions or skillfully string together a creative combo of carefully timed maneuvers to ascend a tricky or treacherous section. For the most part, you're just holding down a trigger, pressing forward, and watching the game sort of play itself. And this brings me to the main general criticism I have of traversal in so many of these games, and that is the removal of player agency in their movement systems. Whether it's the on-rails predetermined routes of ledge-based platforming or the hands-off automated contextual world of AC, in both cases, I kind of feel that devs are missing the opportunity to provide players with the ability to conquer the obstacles of their environment creatively and become more skillful at doing so. Anyone who does any kind of climbing will tell you that every rock face or surface is a code to crack. It's a mental challenge as much as a physical one, where every move, stretch, and leap has to be carefully matched to the holds available, whilst carefully rationing the strength and stamina required to pull them off. And it's this layer of player involvement that Cairn seeks to return to the sweaty, unchalked hands of its players. And as far as I can tell, they really seem to have delivered, as the traversal in this game plays differently to anything I've played before, and is satisfying in a way that I've not previously experienced in a video game. Cairn follows young climber Ava, who bears more than a passing resemblance to Noel Fielding from the Mighty Boosh.
Oh, get real. Are you insane?
On a daunting mission to realize a dream of climbing the treacherous Mount Kami, which is yet to be summited by humankind. In the demo, we get a short tutorial section in the climbing gym at the base of the mountain range before being allowed to access a few rock faces at the beginning of Ava's quest. And it's here we get our first look at how Cairn does things differently, because as soon as you slip a toe into the first hold in the gym, you'll notice just how different the climbing experience is compared to anything that you've played before. And it works like this. You basically control Ava one limb at a time. You move one limb to whichever hold or surface you need, at which point you can then move another limb to the next hold and place that, and then the next, and so forth as Ava works her way up the wall. The remarkable thing about this system is just how intuitive and natural it feels, and the way Ava moves her weight and shifts her center of gravity is really fluid and realistic, and feels really satisfying when you get a nice flow going. It's not always easy, as just as in real life, success all depends on your biomechanics, the quality of the holds, and where you place your weight. Although Ava obviously has some serious yoga chops, she's not unrealistically flexible and can only reach and stretch to where her joints will allow. If you start spreading her all over the place, she won't be able to leverage her weight in the right direction and will start to shake until her limbs give way. Also, not all holds are created equal, and if you don't have a sturdy grip of one and find yourself just relying on the friction of her feet on the wall for too long, she will start shaking and lose her grip under the strain. In addition to that, Ava's stamina is not infinite either, and will start to wane the further you go without letting her shake out her hands or rest in sure footing. To assist with this, you have a series of self-drilling pitons that you can drill into the rock face to clip your belay into. You can then use these to sit off the wall in your harness and rest, abseil up and down the mountain, or to catch you when you lose footing and fall. Also there to assist you is Ava's Climbot, a nifty little spider-like robot thingy that follows you up and down the wall, keeping your ropes tidy, collecting and repairing used pitons, and taking calls.
Okay, hiccup. Chris.
I wasn't done.
All of this results in a really fun and highly innovative climbing mechanic that offers total player freedom on the mountain. You're free to pick whichever route you choose and climb in any style that you like. If you like to play it safe, then take it slow and steady up a route littered with sturdy footholds. Or if you want more of a challenge and want to climb with a bit more flair, you can take a much harder route and push Ava to a limit with big moves, stretches, and grabs to lever your way up a much sparser and more difficult route. It all feels really good, and it's so refreshing to play a game that offers a granular level of control over the movement system, resulting in a style of gameplay that is somehow both tense and super chilled at the same time. Now, we'll cover all the other aspects of Cairn in a full review when the game is released later this year, but for the moment, the thing that excites me most about it is this. The gaming industry is desperately in need of innovation in gameplay worthy of all the current innovation in graphics. Now, that innovation sadly isn't coming out of the big studios, but it is coming out of the indie ones. See Rooftop Snallies and Stora Parkour Pro vids linked below. And Cairn is a great example of a fresh perspective on gameplay that not only offers gamers something new, but restores a detailed level of player agency and freedom that is both refreshing and engaging. Frankly, we need more games like this, and I for one am really looking forward to conquering Mount Kami when I get my hands on the full game.
Are you ready for Kami? Doesn't look so bad, does it?
So what do you think, folks? Have you played the demo? If you haven't had a chance to get to it yet, I'd highly recommend it, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and if you've enjoyed the video, please drop us a cheeky like and subscribe, as it really helps grow the channel. Take care of yourselves, folks, and I'll see you in the streams.